You know, I think an Ed Wood style approach to filmmaking could work for us today.
A King Edward.
A King Edward style, because we've got just as much skill as he has, you know. So
yeah.
with the right approach, I think it could work just as well as the guy who, you know, died in obscurity.
I think so. I think I've been gearing up for dying in obscurity for 38 years.
Now's finally the time. The trick is to get rediscovered 30 years later. That's where I'm hoping. First of all, this podcast, I think, will become a bit of a cult classic.
Once we've hit episode 400 and signed it all off and sealed it in a crate at the bottom of the ocean.
Once it starts really getting shown late night on, you know, crappy local TV in America, then that's when we're going to get the crowds coming in. Anyway, name a big popular genre right now.
Spoof. I think spoof's coming back, Paul.
Spoof is coming back. So we're going to make a spoof, which is, you know, going to be difficult because the idea here is that it'll be bad. So it's going to be so bad as a spoof that it stops being funny, but it's so bad that it actually becomes funny.
Yeah, we are planning to die in obscurity, so I think, you know, we can work with this. Yeah, it's a really tough thing to do badly, but it's then have its own.
That's fine.
Yeah, I feel good about this.
We're only on the first stage of the Edward formula. So we've got our massive genre now, which is spoof. I did actually think that this could go wrong because of your instinct to subvert it and suggest that you could have serious on it. But
I'm happy to do. I'm happy to redo. I can redo.
It's fine.
Okay.
All right. What's a big popular genre right now?
I mean, horror.
Horror. That's good. I like that. The sort of A24 style. You know,
yeah, exactly.
Horror,
it could be social horror, or it just could be a straight up horror with Toni Collette in it.
Yep, Toni Collette's 100% in it. Now name a genre that was huge like 20 years ago.
Spoof.
Spoof, yeah, perfect. Okay, this is going to be a spoof. This is going to be an epic movie style spoof of A24 horror movies.
Boy.
And it's going to be, we'll come to the title in a moment, but this is actually going to fucking work. Now name an obscure British celebrity who might have appeared on like British TV, but Americans aren't going to know who the fuck this is.
Shane Ritchie.
Yep, Shane Ritchie is exactly who it is.
That's the entirety of that sentence that you just spoke was me trying to remember Shane Ritchie's name.
I'm just gonna look at a picture of Shane Ritchie right now. There he is. Yep, I remember Shane Ritchie. All right,
Wheel of Fortune, character. Shane Wheel of Fortune. Don't do this to me, Cat Ritchie.
Okay, Shane Ritchie is our lead character. He is. Do you know who he is? He's the young kind of middle-class person who gets invited to inexplicably spend time with rich people only to find out that they're actually up to no good.
I like that.
Now name someone who was really...
there.
Now name someone who was like huge in the 80s or 90s but hasn't acted much since. I'm thinking maybe Pauly Shore.
I'm thinking Pauly Shore. I was going to say Patrick Swayze, but he is dead.
He is dead. We're going to need him to be... Oh, but that's fine. That's demonstrated by this. We just need B-roll footage of whatever the most recent project he was involved in was.
I did wonder.
You know what?
They can, wander around with a cape over their face.
Not that this is too soon. This is too soon, sorry. Not that this is okay to say, but maybe it is Val Kilmer. And we
Could
just
be Val
use
Kilmer.
Whatever footage is left around from Val Kilmer's last film. And intercut it with Pauly Shore and have a stand-in, which I think is Pauly Shore.
I think so. I think he'd be game.
I think he'd be game. What are 3 locations near your house that we could film in?
Over the road garden with a lemon tree.
Yep.
It's clearly fucking public property at this stage.
Never less angry about it, folks.
Yeah. The MCG.
7 years.
If you can't get into the stadium, then there's a nice little like path around and a little statue in front.
That path, mate.
Yeah, we can block out that path, and there's a statue there. I forget of whom. It will stand outside so people will know.
That's production value.
That's production value, and Hoddle Street, which is the big sort of dual carriageway, like right outside.
Oh shit, yeah, mate.
Right next to our house.
I can't think of a single scene from an A24 horror movie we couldn't make work with those 3 locations. Last thing, just 3 props that are within arm's reach of you right now that we could use.
Okay, mouse.
Yep.
Dexamphetamine.
He means a real living mouse, everyone. Dexamphetamine, he means actual crack.
Real living mouse on crack. And a microphone cover sleeve sock.
Okay, we've got it. So this drug-addicted mouse, which is actually a metaphor for the way in which the rich are are involved in the drug trade
rich.
in order to keep the poor compliant, if you know what I mean.
Oh yeah. And it's a metaphor and also a thing that we say a lot during the film.
Yeah, but also there's going to be a big giant mouse at the end that kills people in really unconvincing CGI ways. And the only hope is for our hero, Shane Ritchie, to use the microphone sack thing to, which is given to him by the charismatic leader of this cult. Sometimes Val Kilmer in footage that we have of him, other times Pauly Shore in a Val Kilmer outfit, covering his face at all times. Do you know what it is? It's not a cape, but he constantly is like just needing to sneeze, so he's just like hands over mouth in every shot that it's Pauly Shore.
Oh yes. I'm buried under the weight of everything you've just promised, and I'm trying to think of something to say. Yes.
In conclusion,
cinema action.
Cinema. That's a movie. We got a hit.
Yeah, and I did say Toni Collette was in it as a joke, but I think Toni Collette is in it.
Yep, and she's like the cult leader's wife who's like really reassuring, but is obviously evil from the beginning. And there's actually no mystery involved because of how obvious everyone is in their duplicity.
Yeah, exactly. And the spoof side of it is...
Oh yeah, it's in there.
I mean, that's when Toni Collette's in it. That's, it's a spoof.
I mean, I don't know if you saw Opus, but these things practically are self-satire at this point. Roll the music. Greetings, my friend. We are all interested in the future, for that is where you and I are going to spend the rest of our lives. And remember, my friend, future pods such as these will affect you in the future. I'm Paulswell Predicts.
I'm nothing from this world.
And I think we've got time for one last trip down the history hole. Cue the music, Johnny! Down the history hole! Thanks, Johnny. Johnny! It's time to face our destinies by at long last reviewing the worst film of all time, according to some, the legend that is Plan 9 from Outer Space.
According to people.
According to people like you and I. Religious people. God-fearing people. American people.
It is safe to state that the grandchildren of some of the people in this dinner will not be born on Earth. They come from the bowels of hell, a transformed race of walking dead, zombies guided by a master plan for complete domination of the Earth. Plan 9 from Outer Space. Starring the most nightmarish cast ever, Bela Lugosi, the seductive Vampira, and Thor Johnson as the Walking Dead.
Turn off your electrode gun! No! No! Stop it, Dennis!
I can't get it, it's jammed!
Stop him, you fool!
Bullets bounce off their bodies. Rockets, missiles, jets cannot stop their death ships. What earthly power can stop this terror? For a glimpse of things to come, see this blast of screen suspense. For it could be happening right now.
What a weird man.
What a strange man these all are. Which weird man? It's Ed Wood again. We talked about him when we reviewed Glen or Glenda, but I'm not going back to check what we said, so let's go over the basics. He was born to a U.S. postal officer. Sorry, I improvised most of the words there because what I wrote is post office worker, but then I went for postal because I liked the sound of it, and then just panicked with the rest of it.
I think with words, you just got to go with the ones you like the sound of. Otherwise, people are going to spend too much time wondering what you mean.
He was a U.S. postal soldier, and he, so they grew up in Poughkeepsie, as they all do, and was interested in comics and movies as a kid. Who amongst us cannot relate to that? He gets given a movie camera for his 12th birthday. Buy your kids cameras, folks. They might be the next Ed Wood.
Now you're on a bounty.
You owe it to the future, where things such as this will affect you.
I know you were scared that it would turn out to be Ari Aster, but it could be Ed Wood. So it could be
Ed Wood.
Fine.
The best of every world. Ari Aster. And one of the first things that little Ed Wood filmed was the Hindenburg passing over the Hudson in 1937. Holy shit, that's how time fits together.
I don't like it.
He was 12 when that happened because of time. Then he went into the army at 17 because of the attack on Pearl Harbor. Whoa. He made corporal, but he didn't see combat because of a recurring filariasis infection. Filariasis infection.
Filariaster.
Filariaster.
Uh-oh, that's how that fits together.
Oh no! That's how that time worked. Ari Aster was 12 at the time. Wood would later claim that he feared being wounded in battle more than being killed because a medic might discover he was wearing a pink bra and panties under his uniform, according to the Nightmare of Ecstasy, The Life and Art of Edward D. Wood, Jr., 1992, by Rudolph Gray. Yeah, and he might get too horny to successfully operate on him.
Yeah, that happens a lot, actually.
That happens a lot. That's why I always wear my smeggiest underwear.
Yeah. And I never get injured. I just choose not to.
I will it to happen because I know of how horny my doctors are going to get. Anyway, after the army, he moved to Hollywood and started writing scripts for television. He wrote a play called The Casual Company, which bombs, and then he made a western called Crossroads of Laredo, his very first film, which he shot in 2 days, mostly in single takes, which apparently results in a sequence where two cowboys try to have a standoff whilst their horses keep getting in the way of the camera and of each other.
I mean, that's cinema verite, as far as I'm concerned.
It is possible in this instance when it comes to capturing the spirit of the West and the spirit of two wild horses that he apparently wrangled into appearing in this shot. Untamed. Pure.
No secretariat. Get out of here.
Oh, damn it.
Trying to stand out for Wild Bill.
Shearguard. Oh, that's where you ended up. So, is that the one who went missing? I can't remember.
I don't know.
I don't know. It's obscure British history. There was a horse and it disappeared.
Fucking horses.
Lucan.
Who gives a shit? Am I right, ladies?
Look, it's all collapsing in and of itself. The first 30 years of your life is loading your brain up with the stuff that's all going to merge together in the last 30 years. That's right. Everybody dies at 60.
Shit. No one told me. This changes a lot.
know.
It's going to give the last 3 episodes a frisson of excitement.
60 tomorrow, motherfuckers. Yeah, then he wrote another bad play, worked as a stuntman. I don't need emails from the Labour Party whilst I'm trying to do this. Ed Petrie. Fuck, just no. I've already resigned for reasons of great political discord. Anyway. Then he wrote another bad play, worked as a stuntman, and then met Bela Lugosi. It's the classic Hollywood style.
Mm-hmm. Ari Aster could agree.
Ari Aster is happening to him once a week. They forged a friendship, which some say was exploitative of the aging, penniless, morphine-addicted Lugosi, but most people who knew them both agree was a genuine friendship, which is also something I'm hoping the people who know us will agree posthumously as well.
Oh,
yeah.
Time will tell.
They were actually alright to each other.
In spite of everything.
I still say he was exploiting him. Who? Both.
Shut up.
So that's when we get Glenn or Glenda in 1953. See our episode on that.
Pull the string.
Pull the strings. A few failed Lugosi projects later, and Wood returns to movies with Jailbait in 1954 and Bride of the Monster in 1955. And then, in November 1956, he shoots Plan 9 from Outer Space, originally titled Grave Robbers from Outer Space.
Okay. And Bela Lugosi dies.
And Bela Lugosi unfortunately dies. The film stars a bunch of his usual collaborators: TV horror personality Vampira, Mela Numi, TV psychic Criswell, Swedish wrestler Tor Johnson, and horror legend Bela Lugosi, remarkable since Lugosi had died the previous August. There was no Plan 9 at that time, but Woods did have some footage already shot for some films he'd planned to make with Lugosi, The Vampire's Tomb, and The Ghoul Goes West. So he used those scenes. Some several times, and then got a stand-in for any footage that he didn't have. The stand-in was the very tall and thin man Thomas R. Mason, a chiropractor and hypnotist.
Who many would say famously was not Bela Lugosi.
Very much not similar to Bela Lugosi at all, but he was a hypnotist, so he convinced Edward that he does look like him. Hey, this guy doesn't look like Bela Lugosi, don't I? Or maybe you do.
Don't he? What?
He used his skills as a chiropractor to convince you. I'm still not convinced. My sciatica!
Cured.
You're on board, fella.
These guys can cure anything. Put that on a sign.
Hey, this guy's got some moves.
Here's my baby.
Oh, you can tell it's him because if you look closely, Lugosi has a more European feature and slender build, and Mason covers his entire face with his cape in every shot that he's in.
Oh, yeah, okay. I had struggled to tell them apart.
This is just a little production curio, but the problem is I'm absolutely in love with it.
Right,
After speculation that the flying saucers may have been paper plates or hubcaps, the Flying Saucers Over Hollywood documentary about Ed Wood, 2 hours long, watched all of it, suggested that the saucers were actually a recognizable plastic model kit, first issued in 1952 by toy manufacturer Paul Lindbergh's Lindbergh Line Model Kit Company.
Lindbergh Line Model Kit Company.
Lindbergh Line Model Kit Company. Get yours now, kids. Dial 555. This was the first science fiction plastic model kit produced, product number 517. Okay. And yeah, I just love every part of that. I really want to phone up a local model shop and ask them to get in model 517 for me. There'll be a form.
Kid, you're talking crazy. Those things are sold out. Have been since 1955.
We had a crazy guy come in here and buy up our last five models. I think he was trying to make some sort of Hollywood legend.
Anyway, this is expensive because you're calling the 1950s. What? Yeah, you heard me.
Why'd you call collect, you little piece of shit? Don't you know how the exchange rate works? Oh, yeah, I do. Can you send me 50 hamburgers? I have 12 cents. My God, I've never seen that much money in my life. You got a deal, mister.
I hope the future fucking destroys you. Oh, it will. It will, sir.
I'm going to Tenet-style destroy you, motherfucker. I don't even got to do anything. I just got to keep smoking this cigarette. Fuck, he's right. He's really got the upper hand.
He did so well, there's nothing we can do about it. Unless...
He's going to be so comfortably dead by the point I can do anything. I'm going to piss on your grave.
We're going to need to do a Tenet, but before that...
Look, before I start threatening to piss on any more hypothetical men from the 50s graves, we've really got to finish this production note.
Highbury won't let me in anymore.
Why do they keep the graves in here? I don't know. But it has... Look, we've got to double up now. The funding hasn't opened up as much as we thought it would.
For graves.
Yeah, only the dead pay rent here. The movie did, that was poetic. The movie did benefit from some Baptist money. The leader of the Southern Baptist Convention in Beverly Hills and an associate from said church played the grave diggers.
Oh, okay.
Well, is that too religious for you? Well, the co-pilot guy in the cockpit scenes was sleeping with the alien ruler guy, so there you go. We got all sorts.
There's a lot going on, and I'm all for it. I love that Baptist morality threaded throughout the film.
They were talking about grave robbing, right? I think I missed that, but there was a scene where it seemed like they were talking about grave robbing.
Yeah, I can't remember. I was too taken with the line. What was it? I don't like sounds, especially when I don't like noise, especially when there ain't supposed to be none.
That's it.
Like, what a wonderful noise, and then nothing else mattered really.
Nothing else mattered. The film is premiered on March. Yeah, that makes sense. The film is premiered. I forgot that's a verb as well. The film is premiere on March 15th, 1957, and then gets picked up for distribution a year later in 1958. Then the distribution company folds. It was screened as a double feature a little in the late 50s, and then gets sold to television in 1961. It is pretty much forgotten about for decades after that until 1980, when brothers Michael and Harry Medved write the book The Golden Turkey Awards.
Okay.
In this book, they talk about movies like The Swarm and Robot Monster, but interestingly, they invited the readers to nominate their favorite worst films. And based on 3,000 ballots, Plan 9 from Outer Space wins. So readers knew about the movie before the book came out, and I can't find much discourse about this. How did this movie get its reputation? Because a lot of people like to point at this book, but it won a reader's ballot in said book.
Zines
did it.
Zines did it.
Trendy zines.
Yeah, zines in your local communities.
Yep.
Where you put all your racism.
Community-based zines did it.
racism on all the pages, and then at the very end, here's a funny video. We've got one.
It's very punk, and they managed to get video into that zine, which I think is admirable.
I think it's admirable and admirable.
We can actually see the effect of this 20-year gap on either side by looking through the back issues of Sight and Sound, or more specifically, the monthly Film Bulletin, which was the BFI Film Review magazine before it merged with Sight and Sound in the 90s.
Okay.
They reviewed the film in its April 1960 edition, before any of the hype. The same issue that first reviewed Truffaut's 400 Blows, which is excellent.
Fantastic.
And all for only 2 shillings.
Oh, instead I changed for the bus ride home, which you could instead throw at a policeman.
Hey, you owe me that from the past for the model kit. You know, you'd sold out. Oh, yeah. Yeah, because I would have bought them all. I get it.
Can I have some money? No. I need it in the future.
Cheeseburgers I bought from you. That's it. You owe me cheeseburgers, man.
Yeah.
Cheeseburgers.
You've got my 12 cents. Can't blame a guy for trying. Give me my cheeseburgers.
What's the conversion rate here in 1956 for 2 shillings into cents? Look, I can't be dealing with this level of hypothetical fantasy bureaucracy at this stage.
I didn't come to the past for abstraction, sir.
I came to the past to get laid, motherfucker.
There's fine previous bitches. No, you could say it back then, because in the past they're all about that, not like now. But you
sorry, Margaret. I don't believe you've met my previous bitch. This is Julie.
No, it's fine. She's from the 50s. No, it doesn't count.
Oh, this is
fine,
every
divorce
word.
them.
This is every word of the Sight and Sound review.
Okay.
A routine idea, crudely written, directed, and acted, provides just about the weakest sci-fi cum horror thriller to come out of Hollywood in years. The late Bela Lugosi is seen, sadly, as a ghoul. Yeah, so not much about the humour or cult appeal there.
No, wasn't. How many times did Bela Lugosi play a ghoul-esque character?
Yeah, a fair few, but it is still sad.
Maybe it's sad, yeah, because of the typecasting.
He never got to play the Prime Minister of Pakistan like Christopher Lee inexplicably did. So, his favourite role of his, apparently, and the one he would always cling to when people insist on talking about Dracula. I say he is dead. Yeah,
he is dead. Yeah, he's dead.
Yeah, he's
dead,
very,
dead.
very dead. Incredibly dead. But now appearing in movies thanks to AI.
Oh, no.
If only Edward had access to AI.
God. The film.
Might taught him a thing or two about what it means to be human.
Blown his fucking mind.
Wow, the special effects. Still, I did stuff similar to this.
Sure did.
It is not mentioned in the pages of the monthly Film Bulletin again until September 1981.
Oh.
A year after the book, when it is casually mentioned in a retrospective review of Glen or Glenda, as I Led 2 Lives, in which critic Steve Jenkins urges reconsideration of that film's avant-garde and comedic qualities, but also offhandedly surmises the public's perception of Glen or Glenda as, at last, a film to rival the same director's Plan 9 from Outer Space as the worst film ever made. So the reputation is there already. So either the Medved's book, outpaced, got across the Atlantic in a hurry and set the location over here, or something else was going on, and this movie was already known as the worst film that was ever made before their book. I don't know.
And then I found a primary source from one Margaret Thatcher, who, before becoming a politician, you might have heard of her.
When she was running for MP as Bedardford.
For Bedardford, yeah.
Yeah. I met Dennis at a dance.
Yeah, I'm going to say yeah.
Their first date was for Plan 9 from Outer Space.
Exactly. And that's how she got her famous back tattoo.
Of Criswell.
And then she kept being like, Criswell predicts a landslide, and then she'd take off, she'd roll up her sweater, and everybody would be like, wow.
Ages because she was wearing the blazer and the suits and stuff. Everyone loved it though. They fucking loved it. They voted that bitch in 3 times.
3 fucking times. What's wrong with you?
We're using the word bitch too much, guys. I don't know what's going on. It's this movie, I think.
Probably, maybe.
I'm going to blame it on the movie.
Let's blame it on the movie.
Anyway, public reaction. Eventually, literally, the next word in my nose is anyway. Anyway,
you knew something was going to fill the space. It's a good thing we're ending before,
Before this gold
things
ends.
catch up with us.
Anyway, public reacted to the film like this was the most fantastic story they've ever heard, and every word of it was true too. That's the fantastic part.
Wow.
Yep. Elizabeth Van Heerden, or Heerden, over on Google said, "I watched it only a couple of weeks ago.
Ooh.
Although at the time it was made, it was probably very good. It just really doesn't appeal to me. I've never really been able to write good reviews about old movies from the 20th century, or any movies that are like this. I hope this helped, even though it was just my opinion. God bless you all. Have a good day or night." Thanks, Elizabeth.
Thanks, Elizabeth. Enjoy your career.
What else came out this year? I think Bridge of the River Kwai.
What year is this again?
56, I want to say.
56?
No, that was when it was shot. I think it got released in... Oh, wow. Well, it's credited as a 59 movie here. But it was made in 56, so that was the year in which the special effects of 1956 are what we're examining and scrutinizing here.
Yeah. My question is, how many years had Powell and Pressburger been active?
They've been around for a little while. They might have made the Red Shoes by now.
Yeah.
They did make all of their great movies during the war, so Black Narcissus, it was all out there.
And you can see that influence there. It's writ large in
This
Plan
was the
9.
same year as The Ten Commandments and Around the World in 80 Days. Oh, wow, The Seven Wonders of the World. Cinerama, of course, that was the year Cinerama was everywhere. Oh, they should have shot this in Cinerama.
10 Commandments, Plan 9, Around the World in 80 Days. 7. Okay. The Ridiculous 6. 5 gold rings.
It was all there. It was the countdown of 1956.
Wow.
What happens when the numbers run out? Get out of here, Dustin Hoffman. We're not doing anything like that.
Get out of here, past, man.
It was the year Godzilla King of the Monsters came out, so there you go. That's the US localization of Godzilla.
Okay. What a great year.
They were capable of some incredible things.
Godzilla.
So Paul, you dead wife.
Oh.
Can you prove this didn't happen?
Oh, I don't know. I better ask Dudley Manlove.
Is that name for the credits?
it's someone in the film, I think.
Love that.
I didn't check to see who it was. I just confirmed that they're in the film.
And yet you resisted the urge to not introduce yourself as Dudley Manlove at the beginning.
Yeah, I know. I like to think I did that consciously, but I didn't.
Just literally improvising right now.
Yeah, I think I didn't want to start with my strongest bit, which was the name Dudley Manlove that was real. Who did he play? Let me see. I need to see.
You have a look at that.
Stop the fucking podcast.
Stop the fucking podcast. I want to get off.
Too late. No, I don't want to write in kanji.
Not now.
This is the worst time for that. Dudley Manlove was Eros.
Oh, Eros. Okay, great. Yes. Okay, the second in command of the aliens.
Oh, yes. Okay.
Yeah, whose boss was fucking one of the co-pilots in the plane sequence. Good. Okay, we're all up to date.
Okay, fantastic.
So, yes, okay, let's get into a little bit what's happening here, because we start with a very Texas Chainsaw style intro care of a deeply blonde TV psychic who for some reason makes me think of Ozymandias from Watchmen.
Ozymandias from Watchmen playing a newsreader who relies too heavily on his teleprompter.
God bless that teleprompter. I'd be fucked without that teleprompter.
We always.
Greetings, my friend. We are all interested in the future, for that is where you and I are going to spend the rest of our lives. And remember, my friend, future events such as these will affect you in the future. You are interested in the unknown, the mysterious, the unexplainable. That is why you are here. And now, for the first time, we are bringing to you the full story of what happened on that fateful day. We are giving you all the evidence based only on the secret testimony of the miserable souls who survived this terrifying ordeal. The incidents, the places. My friend, we cannot keep this a secret any longer. Let us punish the guilty. Let us reward the innocent. My friend, can your heart stand the shocking facts about
grave robbers from outer space.
We all would. Yeah, so at this, he introduces the idea that there might be things that will happen in the future that you should probably be concerned about. Apparently lines from his actual TV show. So that makes you think that he really did find a kindred spirit in Ed Wood.
Yeah, and it makes me think that TV was even worse back then.
This was
Somehow.
their equivalent of The Wire, the stupid pricks. They were obsessed with Chris Well Presents.
Jesus, Tom Waits they even got him to do the intro for one of the seasons. Didn't help. Which surprised everyone because it's not how he sounded at the time. To be fair, he probably sounded like he was 2 years old.
That's how he sounded, Mama.
And then his voice broke into like clean, weird Heath Ledger Joker, and then it went back. I only hope that
was the week that he didn't smoke cigarettes. Anyway,
amazing.
Yeah. So the problem is Bela Lugosi's wife is dead.
Oh.
He's very broken up about it. And as the narrator tells us, the sky to which he had once looked was now only a covering for her dead body. The ice cream that he likes to eat, now merely a frozen reminder of times gone by. The children singing outside, a weird, mocking laughter of the dead wife he's now lost.
The shoes that he wore then, nothing but a mere token of the deadness of his wife and the shoes that she wore.
Walking upon the ground, nothing more now than a blanket to cover her deadness.
Dead wife.
Dead old wife. Yeah, he leaves the house and immediately dies in a freeze frame. That's what he would have wanted. And
Not
gets buried alongside her, and then they both become zombies, I guess. There's also a police detective who also dies and also becomes a zombie.
And there's a moment at this point where a fresh set of detectives turn up to the murder scene of multiple people, and I just think if the next 75 minutes of this film is just a sequence of new detectives turning up to an increasingly large murder pile, I'd be fine with that. That would say a lot.
Very on board. Also, I say alongside, as a matter of fact, she got buried in a ditch by the side of the road. He got a fucking cheap-looking mausoleum.
Mausoleum all the same.
Yep, explained in dialogue, to be fair to it, as part of her family tradition.
Family tradition. She's not family because they were married, but they were married in Europe, so it doesn't count.
Nothing from Europe counts. Especially Tor Johnson, Swedish man Tor Johnson, who has some wonderful things to say in a wonderful way before he dies.
That caused a lot of confusion over here.
A lot of confusion. I don't know what's going on. So there are zombies. They're going around causing all sorts of issue.
One of them in the daytime in one particular place over and over again.
There's some police who are being made to look around the place, which is very distressing for them.
They don't like it.
There's also a guy and his wife. I can't remember if the guy is also the pilot.
The guy's the pilot.
Right. They see a UFO. Then they get home.
Yeah.
He gets home, and it's like, you won't believe what kind of day I had. And the thing immediately happens again.
You seem to still be up there somewhere.
Maybe I am.
I don't think I've ever seen you in this mood before.
I guess it's because I've never been in this mood.
Something about your flight?
Yeah.
What happened, Jeff?
I saw a flying saucer.
Saucer? You mean the kind from up there?
Yeah, its counterpart. It was shaped like a huge cigar. Dan and Edith saw it too. When it passed over, the whole compartment lighted up with a blinding glare. Then there was a tremendous wind that practically knocked us off our course.
Well, did you report it?
Yeah, I radioed in immediately, and they said we'll keep it quiet until you land. And as soon as we landed, big army brass grabbed us and made us swear to secrecy about the whole thing. Oh, it burns me up. These things have been seen for years. They hear, it's a fact. And the public ought to know about it.
There must be something more you can do about it.
Only there isn't. Oh, but what's the use of making a fuss? But last night I saw a flying object that couldn't have possibly been from this planet. But I can't say a word. I'm muzzled by army brass. I can't even admit I saw the thing.
But it's like, you won't believe what the government swore me to secrecy about.
I think the wife says something like, that's the 5th siren we've heard in the last hour. Oh, you have that kind of autism. Relatable. Honey, you sure I'm an eccentric character. Always counting stuff.
But you are a woman, though, so it will be borderline personality disorder misdiagnosis for about 25 years.
We'll see about getting you institutionalized on Tuesday after you've made dinner, doll. So, oh yeah, no. The problem is that things like a flying saucer, just like a big cigar. It's not. And time for some Edward-style proselytizing about the UFOs when that could have happened at literally any time. I think that refers to the point when the general is meeting with his super general, the corporal, or other way around, about the UFOs and what they should do about them and the threat that they pose.
But there is one scene earlier on when he's talking with a subordinate in front of what looks, because it's black and white, to be a completely blank background that's meant to serve as like an outside area. And he's just looking off into the distance, completely ignoring almost what his subordinate's saying, whilst what does he say? I've got it somewhere. Everyone shut up. Oh, it's the what do they want? Where are they from? Where are they going? And then that sort of gaze to the sky is unbroken. And it felt like that was the emotional core of the movie. And it's very funny.
Well, I think we kind of need that because, Paul, I feel like our plot rundown is going to be kind of confusing because we haven't mentioned a main character, a main villain, a main storyline, or anything else. It's kind of just a list of things that have happened so far.
Yes, it's weird that that's the case, isn't it?
It's inexplicable, goddammit.
There are aliens. There are aliens, everyone. Shut up.
There's a main alien. And his second in command, what was his name?
Dudley Manlove.
Dudley Manlove is the second in command.
Yeah.
And also a lady who looks like Gloria Gaynor.
And also a lady who shares the same sort of status as a lady on Earth in the 50s.
God bless them. Their society is clearly very similar to ours. Oh, that's it. I called the main guy Ian McDermott, Manlove, Bob Dole, and Gloria Gaynor. So
it's very good.
Yeah, it's. We also have we have a sequence of Earth the general sort of trying to attack the aliens because they keep appearing in flying saucers wandering around the place, and it really is amazing that he has the kind of technology that allows the general to delete stock footage from a barn, or a cupboard. In fact, I think.
Yeah, look, it's no wonder these guys are being perceived as a threat because the three dead people are up and about as zombies, and it's revealed in a very, very good revealing chat between all the aliens that their plan to something is to raise the human dead to prove their incredible technology. Yeah. And they have raised 3 bodies on all of Earth, and they do admit that it's not quite.
It's not great.
What they're aiming for.
Your space commander has returned from Earth.
Send him in. You have your report?
We had to pull in here to Space Station 7 for regeneration. We're returning to the planet Earth immediately thereafter.
What progress has been made?
We contacted government officials. They refuse our existence.
What plan will you follow now?
Plan 9. It's been absolutely impossible to work through these Earth creatures. Their soul is too controlled.
Plan 9. Ah, yes. Plan 9 deals with the resurrection of the dead. Long-distance electrode shot into the pineal and pituitary glands of recent dead. Have you attempted any of this plan as yet?
Yes, Excellency.
How successful has it been?
We have risen 2 so far. We shall be just as successful on more.
The living, they have no suspicion of your movements?
We had to dispose of 1 policeman. However, none of those risen have been seen. At least not by anyone who still remains alive.
It's too bad it must be handled this way, but it must. Those who we take from the grave will lead the way for our other operations.
Yes, Excellency.
Continue on. Report to me in 2 Earth days.
Look, at the blue sky phase, you do predict armies of zombies, but sometimes when boots are actually on the ground, you've got to downscale your predictions and just be honest with your investors.
Yeah. Yeah.
3 hilarious-looking zombies is all we've got.
But, 3 varied zombies. No one who's not white, obviously, but within the realm.
One of them's Swedish or something.
It's basically black, isn't it?
but there's nothing less white than a Swede.
So yeah,
look, they shouldn't be too hard to convince of our overwhelming technology. Have you seen the way they handle their guns?
Have you seen their films? We are in one.
This crazy guy called Ed Wood. He's clearly their greatest filmmaker, and I think we can take these guys with 3 zombies. So
I think it's going to be fine. But they've been leaving messages.
on
that
answering
they
machines
know
around the world.
Yeah, and it's all sort of hinged on the fact that the humans have developed a sort of supercomputer, universal language translator, which is a risky gambit, which somehow pays off, because this computer can automatically translate an alien language, and they are basically trying to get in touch with the humans. They're trying to rival the humans, basically, but rather than help them, so they can then help everybody later, is just stop them from destroying the universe.
Yeah, unfortunately, I didn't really get hold of the Amy Adams of this situation. She was being forced to stay at home and prepare dinner.
No, they had a man with a gun
terrible time.
who said he needs to believe what he's shooting at.
Yeah, and an incredibly large man who's going to punch everything he sees. Somebody at some stage says, it was a saucer? It was a saucer. A flying saucer? Yeah. Yes, it was.
What, you mean like the up there ones? No. The other ones. The other flying saucers.
I also wrote that one of the senior coppers, after a uniform cop makes a good observation, he says, "You'll be out of that uniform before you know it." Because I am horny.
I'm gonna screw you silly, Rogers.
Prepare yourself, son. So, at one stage, they're wandering around this cemetery for ages, these rank-and-file cops.
For ages.
At one point, they realise that one of the murders has happened near the inspector's grave. Oh yeah, we were here last week. We were here 2 hours ago for his funeral.
Now I recognise it. I feel that was weird.
Oh yeah, my cigarette.
Anyway, we can't explore this grave because we don't have a warrant. Better get down there.
I've got this. The colonel, the general, and the boom mic meet up in order to discuss the sources. And at some point, it turns out that the aliens are really freaked out because they're worried that with human technology and the things that we're doing, they're a little concerned we might destroy the universe.
Yes.
With the atomic weapons that we've got and all of that stuff.
By trying to explode the sun.
Yeah. Yeah.
And sunlight. And the humans retort with, "Oh, we don't know how to do that."
But when we do, that'll be great.
Yeah.
When we do, we're going to fucking use it to become the most powerful nation on Earth.
Yeah, and big punchy army man does be like, "You got to tell us how to fucking do this. We'll be unstoppable."
You're right, mate. He does be like that. So, the plan is far from successful. It's been very unimpressive so far.
It's not really well thought through, is it?
Oh, but it turns out the way the zombies work is very much like the bioengineered dinosaurs from the second Jurassic World film, in as much as you do have to point a gun in order to make the zombies attack something that you want them to attack. Why not just shoot the gun?
Yeah. I don't know. There's a lot of questions, Paul, and I think it's all intentional because Edward's a genius. So shut up. No, there's a gun, and the gun doesn't always work, so it means it backfires.
That's true.
And if you get a large Swedish man, Tor Johnson, to advance on you slowly, there's no and you don't feel like getting out of the corner of the room that you're in.
Guns work every other time. Giant Swedish wrestlers work 100% of the time. So not Lugosi. Fucking Edward's chiropractor and hypnotist attacks the party of people, which involves cops, generals, and the pilot.
Yeah.
What do you make of that? They kill the fucking guy. Yeah. And so after that they go back to the cemetery.
Yes.
And confront the aliens.
Mm-hmm.
The aliens, meanwhile, send Tor Johnson to capture the girlfriend character.
Yes.
For reasons best known to them. Because of robot monster logic.
It's a long game for sure.
They go out and do that. And they actually say, "Look, you can see on our cameras, we've already captured her. Don't worry, she's quite fine." And Tor Johnson's knocked her out and is dragging her around. She's fine. She's probably just asleep. It'll be fine. Please don't worry about it.
And the whole dynamic in that room is, we've got guns, mister, so you better not move. And it's like, I don't think you'll be using those anytime soon. And they're like, well, we probably will. Well.
You want me able to use those guns once I operate this machine over here. Let me just walk to it. Okay. Once I turn this nozzle and then plug in this and then type in this code and then readjust the aerial, Barry, it's not working.
You'll
Barry the alien.
Stand there and wait. Wait for the death ray.
Could you go get Barry the alien? I'm one of the guys with the gun. Yeah. Oh, yeah, sure. Sorry.
Ooh. Well, we've still got Tor Johnson, and meanwhile, two city cops have wanged him over the head with a big bloody log.
I can control him with this guy. Oh, it's behind you. Could you hand it? Yeah, here it is. There you go. Thanks.
And then two of them have a fist fight. Dudley Manlove and the guy who's punching everything have a fist fight. and the aliens are proved to be like no more capable of anything really.
Absolutely
the woman Tanner does get a chance when everyone else is getting punched or thrown about to speak, and she starts trying to like reason with them with logic, and then Dudley Manlove interrupts her to go. Was it like calm down? And then he throws her to the background.
Good for him. God bless him for that.
So thanks for that.
Meanwhile, outside they managed to take out Tor because they've realised that shooting doesn't do any good. But let's try a big stick.
Yeah, that works.
Simple of designs.
So yeah, can we do this again? Can we do this over? Can we start again?
Yeah.
With a new army of the dead.
Yeah. Well.
No. Okay.
In the end, the humans win.
Yay.
Very much like War of the Worlds, because for all their advanced technology, for all their knowledge, for all their cunning, they were brought down by the most simple of human traits.
Punching.
Our ability to punch people in the face. The end. Viewers who like this also watch Shazam 2. Thanks, Amazon.
Thanks for everything, Amazon.
Thanks, Amazon. Oh my God. I really hope we can send Jeff Bezos to space.
It didn't work when we tried to put him underwater.
We were so close. Anyway, that was, at long last, Plan 9 from Outer Space. Had you seen it before, sir?
I had not.
But you'd heard of it from all of the culture.
Heard of it from all of the culture, and it was one of those films. You know, we had avoided it because we were too cool for it, essentially.
Essentially,
we're better
it was
than
just
everyone
too
else.
Heavily talked about, and we felt that there was nothing we could uniquely bring to it. But we don't care so much about that these days.
No, we're just trying to have some fun in the final days of our lives.
Yeah, I'm going to die on Tuesday.
Yeah.
Tor Johnson's coming.
I'm going to take the Wednesday off, and we'll get back to it after that. But you go ahead.
That, mate.
And yeah, so you know, I don't. Yeah, and as you say, don't care too much, and I don't feel like I have anything special to say about it beyond. You know, it was very fun. I was in a very, very bad mood last night before I started watching this, and I was putting it off for as long as possible. And but it got to the point where I had to start watching it, so I started watching it in a foul mood, like the worst mood I've been in a while, and it took about 5 minutes before I was laughing. It was like a quick thaw past the white hot rage, and then I was good because this was just silly. It was every line and every shot and every little mannerism was just gloriously weird. It was just like a microaggression of silliness.
Yeah.
So yeah, it felt really good. It was very fun to watch. I liked all the. There was like this film's just peppered with all these like faux witticisms that just sound so silly.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
And you know, like Bela Lugosi. Poor dead man Bela Lugosi. Who,
God bless that poor dead man.
Every time it cuts back to Bela Lugosi, he's just in a graveyard in daylight.
Yeah.
Doing that same. It's just that one shot that they have of him in a graveyard or in a field in the daytime, and they'd intersperse that with nighttime attacks from Vampira.
Yep.
And like beyond underneath it all, there was just that like old-timey romanticism that I guess is what sort of motivates you, or definitely motivates Ed Wood with things like the general looking off to the distance going, what do they want? Where are they from? Where are they going? And you feel like that's kind of what he had at his heart, but was just unable to like make a film that stuck to that. So
that is the advantage of the earnestness of Ed Wood. That really does shine through. And as a result of that very sincere effort to try and make the best film he probably could under the circumstances, the circumstances being a tremendous lack of money or talent, as a result, some things actually work the way they're supposed to. Like Elvira, Vampira, is actually quite iconic in her sort of creepy look, and a lot of that's down to her performance and her sort of thing. But her, like, you know, going through the woods, and there's something so iconic about Tor Johnson and his anguished-looking face throughout the entire thing. Yeah. Like. And then you've got Bela Lugosi covering his face at all times. There is something of the gothic horror about the three of them that actually kind of works legitimately. But for the most part, the dialogue is atrocious in a way that is amusing, and has only gotten more so, I think, because even the stuff that would have passed at the time has now become very folksy in the way that watching legitimately good B-movies from the 50s does as well. Yeah. So it's only gotten more dated, but there's plenty of stuff in there that is just plainly ridiculous and is incredibly funny.
Majority of my quick fires, to be honest.
Yeah, absolutely. That and just little visual moments that have gone wrong. Little things that he considered insignificant enough to include in the film and or didn't have the money to restage. Yeah. I think the advantage in watching it when we have, after, you know, many, many years of watching similar films and of doing the history hole, more of that in the Patreon. It's fun to see that it is part of a tradition. It is not the earliest terrible, ego-driven, bad movie made by hack filmmakers. We've, before this, seen Maniac from 1934, the Babe Ruth story, Invasion USA, Robot Monster was earlier than this, Fire Maidens from Outer Space, The Wild Women of Wongo got to cinemas first. Like, we can see that it's part of a tradition. A tradition of really bad movies with hokey dialogue, very low production sort of efforts, which does further add to the idea that this was probably released and relatively passable. Like, it's silly enough, but I think to the 80s crowd, it maybe seemed more silly than it would have to a, contemporary 50s crowd. Because, there's a fair amount in there that is just sort of ridiculous in a way that audiences would expect, in the same way that if we go see movies now, there's a level of ridiculousness that will seem absurd to people 20 years from now. Maybe longer, actually, because we don't let our culture die in the same way they did back then.
Sorry.
No, go ahead.
But in that great, and I think we'll see this as we revisit in the Patreon. In like the broad spectrum of history holes that we've seen, this is one of the least boring. That's for sure.
Oh yeah.
Because some of the ones that we've seen have these like there are sort of 30 minutes or so where you just that are just there to make it feature length. You feel
to pad the film. There's less of that in this. There are some moments where you are just watching people bumbling around, and that's bound to happen.
Yeah. But they're all going, it's tough to find something when you don't know what you're looking for, and things like that.
Sometimes they are. Sometimes they are silent. Sometimes it is just Tor Johnson wandering around a grave. And that can be a little torturous. But I mean, this hour is an hour. This movie is an hour and 20 minutes.
Yeah.
It does not have time to go very stale. For the most part, it is people talking, and most of the dialogue is hilarious. I think the only really remarkably boring scene I remember is the general and the less than general talking about the threat that the aliens present. I don't remember too many funny lines from that. I just remember being like, "Oh wow, this is going on a bit."
I still enjoyed it though.
The aforementioned staring off into space reasons.
Oh yeah, exactly. It's a very strange dynamic that only certain people, like Ed Wood or Neil Breen, are going to be able to cook up.
There is a Breeny quality to it. I don't know if it's as relentlessly entertaining as a Neil Breen film,
no.
But it does. I think it does hold up. It really does hold up as an amusing film to watch, and with a crowd would be fun. I think the only problem with it is that potentially, because it is it's easily the most iconic bad movie. It has become that.
Yeah.
The things that are wrong with it are well known. The fact that Bela Lugosi covers his face, not Bela Lugosi covers his face. The Tor Johnson struggling to get out of his grave.
As not Bela, it's just not Bela Lugosi.
Yeah,
did
some
that.
Dude.
Yeah. It's just like necessity breeds invention, but then the thing that you invent is better than the thing that was necessitating in the first place.
Yeah,
just go with it.
Yeah, it's all there, but it is, if you approach it with an open heart, it is still, if you have never seen Plan 9 from Outer Space, there are still delights therein to sort of occur to you. I don't know if any of it necessarily will be stuff you haven't heard before or potentially seen elsewhere, but it is genuinely entertaining.
Yeah, and it's not. It's one of the most notorious bad movies. It's one of the best bad movies, but it's not the baddest. It's not the worst. No, for sure.
It's not Things. There's there's still stuff out there to take joy in, but it's kind of, I think it is good as an entry level. If you've not seen that much in the way of B movies, and in particular if you've not seen much of the bad movies of the 1950s and 60s that we've now become very familiar with, then this is a good entry point. Because again, there's just not that much in the way of boring stretches of nothing happening, which does tend to be the sort of curse of a B movie, because again, they're not trying to make it interesting so bad it's good movie, so they often fill it with moments of what they think are legitimate. And they were very personally weird moments that have come from their very cause. So strong. But we'll talk about that more on the Patreon. We're here to talk about Plan 9 from Outer Space, and I think it's time we started quick-firing.
I think so.
Quick-fire. I'm going to start with something that's not within the film. Tom Young did a poster for this. Tom Young of legendary movie poster status, did Dr. Zhivago, the iconic Gone with the Wind 1967 reissue poster, The Omen, Star Wars, the original Star Wars poster was him. Lord of the Rings, the Ralph Bakshi version, the Deer Hunter, that one with the headband. Raging Bull, again, just close-ups of Robert De Niro's face. He's a huge movie poster guy, and he did a gorgeous poster for this, with really cool blue, just a great graphic art of the 1950s. It's really a gorgeous poster.
Amazing. The cockpit, Paul, of the plane is a little bit of cardboard with a curtain over the doorway, and the joysticks, the controls that the two pilots are sitting at, just they look like bits of the cardboard that you get folded inside of a package that provides protection and support for the product that's in the package. It just looks like he's taken two of those from a box that had a bike in it or something. And it's just doesn't look like a cockpit. It's great.
Yep, and one of the actors has the script in their lap, and when the lightning strikes, you can see the boom mic in the shadow on the background.
Oh, fantastic!
Wonderful. I really like the opening fanfare. It's like Fire Maidens from Outer Space. It just puts you into the headspace you need to be in terms of the opening music of aha, okay, a 50s picture.
Yeah. Yeah, with that welcome sort of.
Well, I mean, Chris Well is immediately
draw.
iconic. His hair.
Yeah.
Just being immediately just bizarre is absolutely fabulous.
It's great.
That of delivery, that voice, just wonderful.
Yeah, it's really something. Quite a lot of his sort of voiceover lines throughout the film that I've got on the quick fire, but some of those lines referring to dead Bela Lugosi's dead wife. Including the sky to which she had once looked was now only a covering for a dead body. The phrase is like a sweet memory of her joyous living. The lost roses of her cheeks. Just
wow.
Yeah, just that was the thing that was bringing me out of my foul mood, and it was really really lovely and poetic in the most silly way.
I enjoyed his line of just sort of he says the title, which at the time was Grave Robbers from Outer Space, and then there's lightning that strikes in order to punctuate it, and that was perfect.
That's great. When they're inspecting I can't remember if it's the initial deaths or the murder of Tor Johnson, but they're digging one of the graves, and I think it might be Tor Johnson doing the detecting, and he hands a shovel to like a beat cop, and the beat cop picks it up, walks to the side and drops it with an unceremonious clang before going back to the graveside.
You hear it hit. It's absolutely fabulous. It's wonderful. He's like, hold this, wordlessly, as if he wasn't expected to it really wasn't expecting to be handed this. Yeah, just lets it go almost immediately.
Wonderful.
I will say it's poignant seeing Lugosi there mourning, like being sad. It's particularly sad because I hope he enjoyed these years, just hanging out, essentially making home movies with Ed Wood. When he's had worked in these massive production studios and like movie companies, and I hope he felt okay about it, because it's a very sad end otherwise.
Yeah. Same.
And it's and echoes Ed Wood's own kind of sad end as well, like because he didn't get to see the benefits of this cult moviedom until many that happened years after he died. So
it's a shame. It's a tricky one then, because you start having the Tommy Wiseau chat of turning up and embracing it, and in pretending it's
I've always, or recently I should say, advocated for the fact that enjoying bad movies actually should be a guilty pleasure, and as much as you should feel a little guilt about it. These guys were hoping for the best from their movie, and it's hilarious at how terrible it is. That's fine. Feel a little guilty about it. Have a healthy relationship with guilt.
Exactly, for fuck's sake. I mean, I was actually thinking of Invasion Planet Earth the other day, and I cringed slightly at the... at our episode with the just how aggressive some of my amusement felt. It is a weird thing.
Yeah, sure.
I think if I could change anything, it would just be going with a little bit more awareness, maybe.
I feel like I would change nothing, but part of that is annoyance with the director, but also to some extent the acceptance that there's a performative element of what we do as well.
True.
And that those two things, have to coexist in a kind of way.
Yeah. It's true.
And the directors shouldn't be fucking interacting with critics. It's just... It's such a tacky thing to do.
Yeah, it's a weird thing to be trawling Twitter. James Blunt style. Attacking people who don't like you. But fuck all that.
We'll do it.
Because
I'll do it now.
Because during the funeral of Bela Lugosi, the funeral of someone who's murdered,
Tor Lugosi? Tor Lugosi. Tor Johnson?
It could be Tor Johnson.
There's a funeral.
A rest well deserved feels like a weird thing to say at the funeral of someone who was murdered. But hey,
he's gotten a good rest from getting murdered.
Yeah, it's true. After getting murdered, you deserve a rest, to be fair.
There's a line of something like, the aliens attacked a town. A small town, I'll admit, but nevertheless.
A town of dead people.
A small town is just great.
I know.
Qualifying it that way. But if they attack a larger town, we'll be all over them.
Oh, that's the line. But nevertheless, a town of people who died.
Incredible.
Talking about the general who orders the SAM missiles, the SAMs to go out to the flying saucers. The Criswell talks about this general who makes the greatest decision of his career. No, he's on the cusp of the greatest decision of his career. He made that decision, and then stock footage of these SAM vehicles chugging out missiles, to no effect.
God bless that man.
Oh, fuck.
I'll reiterate, Vampiro with her hands I thought looked great. Vampiro doesn't say anything in this movie, and there's conflicting accounts of this. some people say that she insisted on that because she didn't like the lines that were written for her. But on the other hand, she was an undead zombie throughout the entire movie, and the zombies never speak. So
that's true.
Yeah,
not even Fido did in Fido. So.
Nevertheless, I think Tor Johnson, for example, would have been a lot more effective if he had never spoken instead of the incredibly terrible lines he delivers at the very beginning.
Medical examiner been around yet?
Just left. The morgue wagon ought to be along most any time.
You get their statement?
Yeah, much as we could. They're pretty scared.
Finding a mess like this ought to make anyone frightened. Have one of the boys take the guy and the girl back to town. You take charge.
Okay, Inspector. What are you going to do?
Look around a little.
It's pretty dark out there. Once you get beyond the range of those lights, you won't be able to see your hand in front of your face.
I will get one of the flashlights from the patrol car.
Okay, be careful, Clay.
I'm a big boy now, Johnny.
Yeah, because him... I'll go on to that as my next good thing. His, like, death mask is fucking horrendous. It's really unsettling. It's stuck in that, like... I can only say...
yeah,
it's that, which, you know, it's ridiculous, but there's something about it with the milky pupils and whatnot. Yeah. It's kind of grim. I
think
enjoyed
the
it.
three of them look substantially better than the monkey with a space helmet. or the bin bags that were in the Creeping Terror. Like, genuinely, they're pretty good monsters.
Yeah. I would say.
And actually, to put just a button on that, and actually, I think this will be my last one, actually, because I didn't want to note down anything I recognized from other places, and I recognized quite a lot of the of the quickfires that I had from other things that sort of pointed them out. But Lugosi, he still looks great in his cape. And the moment where he actually does cast his cape around himself, and he just does it so naturally and dramatically that I thought it was really quite really good.
I liked that.
Yeah. You do a few more. I have to get my phone from the other side of the room so I can get the OG team.
Okay, shall I do some now?
Yeah.
Okay. So there's the when the aliens are going back to Earth to try and improve on their 3 dead body problem. The lead alien says, "Report to me in 2 Earth days." And initially I thought, oh, that's fucking weird. What a weird thing to say to aliens who don't live, you know, by Earth days. But then it made sense. Of course, you know, if they're going to be on Earth, it kind of makes sense to time everything by Earth days. Obviously, if they had the tech then for space travel, they could probably tell what the time was back home. But it was still, you know, a line that made sense when I thought about it. And you can find out what that is in the edit.
Yay! I look forward to that.
Yay! I liked the pilot saying to his wife, "See you Thursday." It was such a naff utterance you don't really hear in films, like saying bye at the end of a phone call. It's just not done in Hollywood. So see you on at tea time on Thursday. Okay, yeah, don't die. There's I can't remember what scene it is. I think when everyone's gathered around the pilot and his wife's table, for a while the pilot just wears the face of me in social situations. Please let this end. Please let all of this end. I want to go home. I want to be on my own.
About the filming.
Yeah, they forced him in there despite his tendency to punch everything.
He just run around it.
There was a line, "the dead old man," which made me laugh. I realised I referred to Tor Johnson throughout this as Andrew Dice Clay because his name was Detective Clay in the
right
thing. This is the line that I referred to earlier.
How could I hope to hold down my command if I didn't believe in what I saw and shot at?
Yeah, America. What they convinced the woman, the wife of the pilot, to stay behind in the car on her own, or being protected by the beat cop that has so far proven to be completely ineffectual. And she's like, "Well, I guess I can't argue with that." And then she goes in the car, and then the next scene, she's flat out asleep. just
oh, bless her.
Catching a winks, mate.
You gotta catch up where you can. You might have to make You've got to wake up at 4:00 in the morning to start breakfast.
To start the bellows.
Yeah.
Okay, I've got a few more. The line, because all of you on Earth are idiots.
Yeah.
How can
stupid.
one planet... Stupid.
You see? You're stupid mimes. Stupid. That's all I'm taking from you. Get back here, you jerk!
And also, earlier on in the voicemail, how can one planet be so stupid? is a really good Futurama style sort of line.
Oh God, yeah.
When
the Futurama guys definitely saw this.
They 100% did, as did Dark Place. When the beat cops are talking about how to best wang Andrew Dice Clay over the back of the head with the pole or whatever it is. One of them says, even when Clay was alive, he couldn't run fast enough to catch me, which suggests so much backstory and lore there.
Just him hanging out at the police station.
Come on, catch me, Clay. Yeah, you can't do it.
Fabulous. Well, there you go. That's quick firing for, my allergies are really bad, folks, Plan 9 from Outer Space.
Working title.
He sent it into the telephone on the phone to the poster made it, so they printed it. They're efficient. Read that back to me, Bill, was the subtitle. Let's check in with the OG team. Yeah. Jenny Sunday over on Blue Sky. Jenny said, dang, I've only seen Ed Wood, but not the source. 100% check out the source. I did rewatch the scene from Ed Wood where they filmed Plan 9 from Outer Space, and it is beautiful, the attention to detail that they paid to recreating some of the gaffes, like Tor Johnson struggling to get out of his grave. But yeah, I highly recommend checking out the original. It is still really good fun. Starling at starlingdust.sky. Oh god, the tags are bad. Sorry, I like Blue Sky. I'm glad we're here. Fuck Elon Musk, but the tags are really bad. No, but I just want to see. I just want you to see this message when you check. Hi guys.
Aww. Get the fuck out of here.
Get the fuck out of here.
No, I'm joking.
Let's talk about the one better thing.
The one better thing.
The one better thing. What's your one better thing?
Arrival 3-body problem.
Perfect.
Yeah. It reminded me of both. It did not go anywhere near either of them really. There are a couple of moments I thought, two very good sci-fi. They came here, but for what purpose? Things.
Yeah.
With varying levels of existential. What's the word? Troubles in me.
Yeah. No, absolutely. There is a cosmic horror to the idea of the unknown.
Yeah.
Approaching in order to communicate a incoherent message.
Yeah, and the 3-body problem. What that does well is the technology of a supremely advanced species, like accurately conveying just how thoroughly maddening and insane causing that would be. And Arrival explores the movie Arrival. Yeah, absolutely, and all the nuances thereof. I have gone the B-movie route.
Ooh, I'm going to recommend some better B-movies, and to find out the best B-movies, I recommend signing up to the Patreon.
Swarm. And
checking out our definitive tournament-style ranking of the History Hole episodes, which will be going out very soon. Whoa, indeed, my good friend. But, I mean, if you want a quick recommendation now, I would say if you have seen Plan 9 from Outer Space, if you haven't, do that. It's a good entry point. If you have seen it and you haven't seen Glenn or Glenda, I would recommend checking that out because it's a much more personal story and has similar elements of just baffling badness. And keeps a very good momentum going throughout the entire thing. And then otherwise, in terms of other like really bad movies from the time, I don't want to show my hand too early with the other one because there's loads of these, but let's just say Robot Monster, which I thought was really genuinely baffling and quite wonderful in a very similar way to Plan 9. It has similar sort of lumbering monsters pursuing people inexplicably. So I will go for Robot Monster.
Super.
And that's going to do it for the one better thing.
One better thing.
The better thing. Paul, do you remember how people can find out about this podcast?
I think so. Do people still use email? Emails.
They might do.
Okay.
Jesus, I haven't mentioned the email in fucking decades.
Send Twitter an email and say, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Fuck off. And then you close your email and then delete your email. You don't need it. You don't need it, people. Because you've got Blue Sky now. And you just need to go on Blue Sky.
Get off the system!
You just need to go onto Blue Sky. And I think you see this on the main page there. And you just open that up and you say, I loved Ed Wood.
Yeah.
And then we'll get back to you. But we put out the call on there. Do we still put out the call on Twitter?
Yeah, we do.
Okay, we do, because...
We do, but come on, the cool kids aren't there.
Yeah, the cool kids aren't there. You're there, listener. But you're also on Blue Sky.
Get out of there! Get with the cool kids on Blue Sky,
Come on, you're
buddy.
Cool. Get the fuck out of Twitter. What the fuck's wrong with you?
I'm Paul Wishow.
Poopitois.
And remember, the one good thing about Plan 9 from outer space is that after all this time, it truly is the one that worked. Is it really going to end on a Seinfeld episode reference? Yeah, it is. Fuck that guy.